Hey folks, this is Z-Man with Kadesh Farm. Wanted to do an update on my property. Last year, 2022, we had a soil test done. It was low in pH and a little bit low in organic matter, and the potassium, just several things, because this land was kind of left abandoned for the most part. All they did was hate it and didn't add anything back. And of course, right now where I'm at is up here where my rams are. This property, or this portion of the land, was somewhat fertile, but we've experienced a 4 or 5 week drought, or shall I say 4 or 5 weeks without rain. And we're finally getting some rain, hence me sitting inside my truck. And I'm so excited about getting some rain. We've been working on some food plots for deer, and I put it down about 2 weeks ago with no rain on it. So we're finally getting rain. And also I went to Green Cover, which is a great company to order seeds and use a calculator to figure out what is best for you to put down depending on what your goal is. And I ordered some seeds from those guys. It was rye grain, not rye grass, Siberian kale, a kale and rape hybrid, and safflower, and a rape seed. I just wanted to add some more green matter where I could go and cut it down, or actually have it for deer food plot slash feed for my sheep here, and also at my home at another 5-acre farm that we have, and also for our cow. We're working on getting a couple of more cows, but I wanted to make sure that we had the food to feed them. And my long-term goal is to do all 100% rotational grazing. But as you could tell, due to the dryness that we've had here lately, I'm glad I didn't go ahead and make the purchase on some other cows. I'm working on something right now with the guy that has some South Pole cows. But as you could tell, when we initially put the sheep in here, this is where I first put them, in this paddock here. This was the first one. And they may have been in this paddock twice over the last 2 or 3 months. And I decided to let it rest, even during the drought, because of the thatch, I believe, that I had on the ground. It was able to retain some of the moisture. As you can see where these guys are currently in this paddock here, there's nothing much growing, just dryness. I mean, it was so dry and brittle. I actually went out and bought some hay that wasn't sprayed, had some pretty decent seeds. As you can see, I put it along the fence. Yeah, I should go and spread it all out, but hay is expensive right now, a lot more expensive than what I'm accustomed to. My goal is to go ahead and get a round bale out here. It's just a matter of, I got this area pretty sealed up in regards to keeping the coyotes out. So I guess I'll have to either buy one from a neighbor and have him to put it over the fence, and I'll roll it out there. Normally I unroll hay, but with this being such a small area, I'm not exactly sure how I would do. I may just do what they consider bale grazing. Just put the bale in the section and just let them go at it. Because these guys, I don't want them to lose their condition. They were looking pretty good a couple of weeks ago. I noticed the body condition started just kind of dropping a little bit. So I will focus on making sure that they have plenty of protein and good food to eat. Kind of walk down here. You can see where I had them in here. You can see the big difference. It was brown desert, green oasis. This could be a whole lot better if we would have had more rain, but I'm happy with the rain that we're having right now. And this is another section. As you can see, I had panels up, and this is another section that I had them on. They may have been on this section once, but it still retained a little bit of the thatch on the ground and a little bit of moisture. But as you could see, as the further we get down towards the main part of my property, the more of the broom sedge that you see. Just beyond these fence posts is rock. So the ground is pretty shallow, so it did not hold or retain moisture. As you can see, this rock continue all the way out towards this way. So the ground is pretty shallow, so it didn't retain moisture at all. And it is just basically what we're looking at. Down where my cow is located, see if I can get a view. She's way out there. The back half behind where she's at, and see if I can put my finger on her. There she is right there, and all back through there, even back on the hill where I did a controlled burn. It started out pretty good, but and seemed like towards the end of July is when we started experiencing drought, and it's like the broom sedge just took over. We had nice, beautiful, lush growth out there, but because of the drought, broom sedge took over, and here we are stuck again with broom sedge. So I decided I should have cut this at the end of July, at the beginning of August, while it was green, so I can get more biomass on the ground. And just a lesson learned on my part. There's a lot of greenery down under the broom sedge, and I wish I could get the sheep back there because there are tons of little shrubberies. I don't know what kind of ash trees or something that is growing off in that, and I would love to get the sheep to knock that back because I do not want that field to be taken over by saplings. It is hard to walk through, hard for the cow to walk through once you cut it. It can be hard on your tires. So it's just some things I'm working on. See if I can get back here towards that little bitty white building. It's not as bad, as thick with broom sedge like the area over here. So I decided to cut this. My truck should be okay. I'll walk down here. You can see this rock. One thing you can guarantee you're going to have in Tennessee is rock, and we have our fair share. But thank God this area, this farm here is not covered in it. But every now and then I'll find a good spot where it's rock. Now, as you can see where I cut this down, and this green space that I have all the way around through here, this is what I did last year. So I got myself prepared for a controlled burn. And it actually came back. It's clover, and it was ryegrass, but the ryegrass, of course, died out in the summer. But the clover is beginning to come back, so I'm excited about that. So what I did, I cut this down on maybe 3 or 4 days ago. Then I came back and seeded it. I probably should have seeded it with some discounted seed that I was able to get, and also the stuff that I got from Green Cover, and then cut it. Because I realized I started putting my seed on top of the stuff that came out of the lawnmower. I did cut it and kind of push it on the side to make sure that the seed hit the ground, but I think I probably could have done a better job. Lesson learned. Still growing in this, and even out there where Molly is at, it's not as thick as it is up here, but I wish I would have, like I said earlier, cut it back in towards the end of July, August. Didn't have to worry about any nesting birds. It's just a lesson learned, but I'm so eager to get things going on. But I know you have to exercise patience, and everything is weather dependent, and it's not much you can do, but just trust God and see that He would guide and lead you in the right direction, and just know and believe that you're going to have the best. Do have lots of clover along this fence row that is growing. Some of this area had clover already in it, and some is where I seeded it last year, red clover and white clover, and it seemed to keep coming back. I allowed it to go to seed, and it's benefiting us. Right here in this section here, like I said, when we bought this property, it was hardly any clover growing, but man, it's pretty. It's kind of hard to see it down through here, but there's plenty of clover growing all up through there. Let's see if I can find my pointing stick. My finger keep making the camera go out of focus. Even on this side of the fence, there is clover growing, probably from me. Well, actually, it's probably from me cutting it and distributing the seeds on the lawnmower. But all down through here, there's clover growing pretty good. Out there, it's right past that reel. It's a round circle. It was when we had the most cold weather I've ever dealt with in my life. It was so cold I didn't feel like getting on the tractor, so I rolled that hay right there and left it. And evidently that hay had a lot of fescue in it. And guess what grew? A bunch of fescue. And I'm okay with fescue. I just don't want a farm full of fescue. And that's the first thing when I put her over here. That was the first thing that she destroyed was the fescue. You can see the difference from where I have not allowed her to graze to where I did allow her to graze. And that's a pretty good clue to me that I probably should have cut this and allowed what little greenery to grow. Even though we had a drought, I think some grasses would have still grown. It was roughly about 3 weeks ago, we did get a decent rain and the grass responded to it. But lesson learned, July, August, if you're going to cut something, it'll be about the best time not to disturb the nesting birds. April, May is not a good time to, if you weren't about nesting birds like quail or anything like that. I haven't seen any quail out here since last year. Not exactly sure where they went, other than we do have several hawks that are pretty strong out here, and I would love for the quail to come back. This is another section that I mowed down. As you can see, there is a lot of biomass that I put on the ground, and I did seed it. I think I seeded it. Yeah, I seeded it today, and also I seeded it the other day. I had some, like I said, a discounted bag of fescue and some clover, and I just, just trying to get some stuff going. These 2 hay rows right here are not sitting on the ground. They're actually up on something, and they are full of crimson clover. And I have hay bales in different places all throughout out here to get myself prepared. There's another one way out there. Get myself prepared for rotational grazing and unrolling the hay. She is pissed because I haven't unrolled the roll for her, but she had plenty, especially down off in this bottom. We call it soggy bottom. There's plenty of greenery over in there. And I have about 1, 2 way back more paddocks established, already set up and ready to go. But I'm going to let her clean that up pretty good for me. And also look at tightening her lanes a little bit to get more manure. But this is the area when we first got her here, we rotated her through, and I could see a difference. I can see a big difference. I did not rotate her up here, and look what we have. Broom sedge. But I did rotate her down through this area here all last year, and you see a lot more greenery growing compared to this over here. So I'm kind of glad I left that the way it was so I could learn. Broom sedge is a sign of poor fertility, low pH, and I think Molly, even just a 1-cow show, she did a pretty good job of giving me urine and manure to feed this part of the property, and she did a very good job. Another section, I don't feel like walking way over there because it's rain starting to get a little bit more rain going. I kept her over there for, I think, the latter part of the winter and all spring, a good part of the summer, and she stayed over there a lot. I did a lot of hay and feeding her hay and just different things like that over there. And I'm saving that for winter stockpile because there's a lot of greenery. And I think there are a lot of cool season grasses that are still trying to pop through even though with the drought. So I'm really going to save that for winter stockpile. Kind of like I did this area up here for my ram. And head back towards the truck, starting to get a little wet out here. One thing for sure, regardless about the drought, daggum browse. This whole area right here. I would love to get the sheep over in here, but this is my neighbor's property. He probably wouldn't mind because he's not doing anything with it anyway. But it's just a matter of trying to keep the sheep protected from coyotes until I get my pups out. I will be bringing the pups out soon because they are, they don't play now. They've learned from their parents how to deal with other animals, and I think they are pretty much ready to come out. Just a matter of getting them in an area and protected. As I head back towards the truck, you know, there's a lot of thick grasses. Let me walk over here and show you. Ooh. This stuff is so thick and matted down, lying down on the ground. I would love to get the sheep over here, but the problem is it's so much rock. It's so hard for me to get get the fence posts into the ground. But a lot of this green stuff, they will just devour this stuff here. Eventually I'm gonna have this whole field fenced in, and I could just divide it into sections. They are hot wire trained. As you can see, the wonderful rock of Tennessee. All throughout this area, there's some nice greenery. There's a honey locust tree up here. Oh, it's a walnut tree right there. Huh, I didn't realize I had one. Nice. Where's that honey locust? Let me walk over here. Evidently, whoever had this property, they used this section as a junk pile. There it is. I will be coming out and picking up some honey locust pods. There's a cluster right there. I don't see many on the ground. I haven't been over here in a while. Maybe something has been coming in and eating them. There's one right there. The sheep kind of is new to them, but Molly love them. I have another area where I pick them and she just devours them. Again, this is Z-Man. I want to kind of give you guys an update. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm enjoying the journey along the way. Hopefully you guys will learn from my mistakes. Trust me, I've made my fair share. It's always good to learn and build from that. This is partially, this is my property here along with my neighbors right over here. He had some cows. I'm not sure what he do with his cows. That's his field. He had it cut and hayed, and I decided not to. If you notice, he removed a lilac broom sedge, and look what he had growing now. So lesson learned. For the purpose of me doing what I did, it was wrong. I probably should have cut this and allowed for that growth underneath to not be so crowded by the broom sedge. As you can see over here, I usually will cut this down through here, and it has a lot more greenery in it compared to the section that I didn't graze much last year, or probably didn't. Yeah, I grazed it once. I told you wrong. I grazed this once compared to where she's at down there, and I really intentionally grazed her down that way, and you could tell the difference in the growth. She is ticked because she is wanting me to come down there and give her some snacks. I do spoil her. She's a good girl. But this is Z-Man, and I'm out.